There we go.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Yes.
All right, let me open up the voice memos too, so I can record there as well.
Perfect. Hey, what the hell was the name of our last podcast?
I don't know. What did we talk about? Oh, abundance.
That's right.
Because I literally just in my voice memos, it popped up and I labeled it Abundance Podcast.
Deal. So I was trying to keep track of what we've done.
I know.
I need to get this organized a little bit better.
Yes. We will get that together soon.
Well, just even on my end, I need to just organize it.
And for me, I want to re-listen to it too, just to make sure everything sounds good. Oh, yeah. Also, am I even talking into my microphone? It's all the way over there.
You're kind of choppy. It's there's some feedback.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Staticky.
Let me wait. How about now? Still staticky?
Yeah.
Really bad?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I just traveled with it and maybe I
don't know. Sounds like you're underwater.
Oh, super.
Just the sound I was going for.
Still underwater.
Say it louder.
Still underwater?
No.
Okay, so it's better now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And can you hear me okay? I'm just going to play around with the volume on here. Is that good?
Yeah.
That sound louder?
It sounds the same.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I think it just turned up the volume on my computer.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Let me turn it down a little bit. Okay. So today.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say what was coming to me when I was thinking about this ahead of time and just kind of tuning into what I wanted to say is about having it be about portals, but really about giving our power away. What? And two external things. What is it the same thing that you thought?
Literally line for line. I was what if we just do giving our power away and we pull portals in as one? I have it written down, all the ways we give away our power.
Yes, exactly. Anything really that makes you turn away from yourself and your own intuitive knowing.
Yes.
And puts you in the energy of I need to do this thing for this to happen.
Yes. Or I am lacking.
Or for me to have the life I want or whatever.
Yeah, I am lacking within myself. So let me come over here for fulfillment or compliments or so many ways. Do we want to come up with a list or we just want to do what we do and riff?
I think we should just go for it.
Okay. I just love that we're both it's about where we give our power away.
So I think that's the name of this podcast is all the ways we give our power away.
I think that's the name.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Do you want to start us off this time?
Sure, I can do that. Intro music, diddly diddly do.
Can't wait to do the bloopers on these.
I know. Oh gosh. All right. Breath. Where are we at in our recording? Okay, I'm just gonna write that down.
Yeah, about 4 minutes in on mine.
Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. Abby and I are here today, and we're so excited and looking forward to getting deep on all the ways in which we give our power away and ways that you may not even consider that you're giving your power away and the ways that we can pull that power back into ourselves and really remember that we are the center. We have the intuitive knowing, we hold our own power, and we get to really consciously decide on where we move that energy and then what we get to receive from that. So welcome. Hi, Abby.
Welcome. Oh, hi. So happy to be back here in Southern California today and got enough sleep last night-ish. So here we are.
So you slept with the full moon? Because I did not.
Yeah, I had a hard time falling asleep last night, but I was also so tired from getting no sleep really the night before that I think my body was just like, we need it. We got
We're
to do
doing
it.
it.
We
We're
got to
going to
do
rebel.
Oh my gosh. Also, and I think you saw that I posted in my stories, but there are literally crystals like lining every window of this house. And I'm like, it feels like you can feel the energy feels different here. It feels like a nice little oasis. So I think that has also been helping.
Is this an Airbnb superhost? Because if not, she should be with
No,
crystals.
well, this is not through Airbnb. It's through
Oh,
yeah, it's through kind of like a private network thing. But yeah, she even has those little EMF, things that you plug into the
yeah.
walls with the little crystals in them. Jameson's like, what are these? I was like, oh, let me tell you about these.
Let me school you up, babe. Welcome to my world. I got this.
Right.
So you're in the best energy to do a recording right now to do this
Yes.
podcast.
Well, and the whole reason I think this idea occurred for both of us to talk about the ways we give our power away is because today is, I think, officially the last day of the Lionsgate portal. Is that right?
Yes.
I think today is the last day.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But again, this is kind of what we're going to be talking about because, and we may have said this before on a previous podcast, I can't remember, but just talking about how it can be and feel very easy to get sucked into, especially in the Instagram world. If you are in the spiritual realm at all, to get just pulled into all of the astrology, all of the days when it's like, oh my God, it's like 5/5/11 or 5/5/5 or whatever. It's like the best day to manifest and do whatever. And specifically like Lionsgate, which we're in right now, is known for being like a pretty powerful portal. And yet what I've been feeling this whole time is I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to do, and that's also kind of the phase of, I think, just these past couple months, weeks and months of just being in planning mode, being in very, physical reality of planning wedding stuff. But yeah, I've been feeling definitely a resistance to wanting, like, to receiving any of that in like social media and like anything that tells me that I need to do something. It's like the inner rebel is like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked about this quite a bit, and it's something I've been feeling for quite some time. I remember even just like the power of positive thinking and all of these things. I remember, I don't know, a couple of years ago or a year, whatever time, what is time? We don't know. But at some point in my journey of being on the spiritual path for most of my life, I was like, but I want to feel what I'm feeling and not make that mean that I can't manifest what I desire or that I have to be so high vibe. Right. And then also, you and I have talked about this as well. This is why we're talking about it here, is I love astrology and I love how it can support us. But there's a very fine line of putting our power into a full moon or a new moon or a portal or a gate in a way that's like, okay, this is going to be the thing that does the thing to get me the thing. And reality, none of that's true. Sure, the energies are here to support us and reveal to us what we need, but we've got to be the ones that are willing to look. We've got to be the ones that are willing to turn around and face ourselves and go into our hearts, into our subconscious patterns, into the ways that we operate in our life, who we're being and what we make things mean. And so if we're always just relying on these quote unquote portals for something to save us, then we are not actually living from our true, authentic, powerful selves, because we are so powerful. We can I have manifested incredible things this last year. And I don't know that any of them were delivered during any sort of special portal.
Right.
And one
Right.
of my favorite posts of yours, which came through just you and I voice memoing back and forth as we do, because we
Mhm.
just adore each other and keep in touch. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it because it's your post, but I posted it again the other day during this quote unquote portal, and not to minimize it, like the portal and people that really love that,
Mhm.
but also like if you want to share what you wrote, I think it's really powerful.
I mean, I think the gist of it is that just every day is a motherfucking portal.
Motherfucking portal
And
daily.
daily, it's
Yeah.
like, and like anytime that you choose and you decide and you have the energy like in your body, in your knowing that like these are the things that you want to be doing, saying, acting, being, then that's where the power comes from. The power is not actually in the portal. The portal is just, it can be an amplification, but like the power center, the source is always within you.
Yes.
And so I think, like you were saying, we can get so, especially in the beginning, I think, of a spiritual journey where you're really cultivating that relationship with source energy and wanting to tap into all of the things, you know, because it's so much fun. It's fun to be
Oh,
like, oh
it
my God,
is.
it's a full moon. And these are the things that I
And,
just learned about what a full moon can do.
and
And
let's pull the cards and see what the cards
yeah,
have to say. And
yeah,
it's so fun.
it's so
Absolutely.
fun.
Yeah.
And as long as, and that's, I guess, where the fine line is when it stops being fun and it starts feeling like work, like, okay, I need to do these things in order for me to have these other things that I want, because that's never, that's never like the vibe that you're going to really manifest anything from. It's always starts with the certainty that you are the one with the power within you. You are the one who decides. You are the one who is, you know, directing and leading the charge and letting everything else just assist you in that process. And I think
Yes.
that's where it can get, you know, people can get it twisted, and where I have definitely in the past.
Yeah, as have I, which is, we find our way back, right, to more neutral ground. And for me, it's yes, we are the ones that hold the power, but I know my belief is it's such a co-creative experience. I believe that God lives within me and we also live
Right.
within God, right? And being, for me, I don't know if submissive is the right word because the energy of it doesn't feel quite right, but for me, it really is the
Like
surrender of like God,
the
like, right? And
conduit.
yeah, that life knows the way and life is God. And that was my mantra. And I've probably said it before on here. The last 2 years was life is leading and life is
Mhm,
God. And that means leading through me, right? Like I can
mhm,
feel the energy. That's my intuition. That's my connection to source,
mhm,
experiencing itself as a human through all of
mhm,
these really cool, human ways and connections. And then also in nature and Mother Earth and the universe and the cosmos. And but we forget, or we're unwilling to own, is probably more accurate right now,
mhm.
that we are really powerful and that it is okay and safe to be that powerful. And
Exactly.
yeah.
Well, and what just came for me when you were talking is the unwilling to own the power, because that's scary, because
Well,
you might be afraid you might fuck it up or something crazy is going to happen, like taking all of that responsibility onto yourself instead of being able to blame something outside of you. It's
mm,
like, oh shit, can I actually take radical ownership over all of the things happening in my life? And when crazy shit happens, not make it mean that you fucked anything up, or it's
yeah.
like all of the experiences that come through, because life is, we're going to have ups and downs always. I mean, that's just being a human being and on this journey.
Hmm.
But it's all of the opportunities that we get to decide how we want to experience these things that happen. Do we want to see them as something that ruined everything, or do we want to see them as an experience that showed us how we get to show up in the world differently than maybe we have before that?
Yeah. Yes, I love that. And it's all feedback,
Mm-hmm.
it's all just feedback. And you're right, we can't fuck it up. I mean,
Mm-mm.
we literally can't. We just get to decide to get to know ourselves deeper,
Mm-hmm.
right? And what was it? I was listening to Abraham Hicks this morning, and I don't listen to Abraham Hicks very often. But a client sent me, she was like, hey, I'm having a really great day. Then this popped up, she's really in flow, really in sync. And so
Mm-hmm.
what we're working on is really having her anchor in the goodness
Yeah.
by letting her nervous system calibrate to how good life gets to be. And so we talk about anchoring in the sunshine. And something that Abraham Hicks was talking about, which really applies so perfect, because I didn't know this morning when I woke up what we were going to be talking about today. But
Mm-hmm.
it was like, have you ever met somebody when you're like, hey, how are you? Oh, hey, I'm good. I'm just really afraid of my own power. So I'm pretty powerless.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, and then you're not going to be like, well, let's go find more people who are powerless. Let's go find, and then that's going to create the power. It's like, no, it's
Mm-hmm.
so innate. And we're scared of it because also, what are people going to think if I fucking own my light and I
Mm-hmm.
really turn up the amplification and the volume to be everything my full potential in this lifetime?
Mm-hmm.
What are my I mean, I still experience that. Like when I'm posting, I posted about orgasms yesterday and I was like, oh man, what's what's the
What's
what's
gonna
the
happen
fan
here?
what's the fam gonna think, but
Mm-hmm.
also we're all operating that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we can ease our nervous system into owning how powerful we are instead of telling the same old fucking broken story that I'm afraid of my own power, or I'm powerless, or I can't, we can
Mm-hmm.
actually ease ourselves into that and know that we're going to be uncomfortable with what other people are going to think of us. We're not going to get rid of that. I don't think that
Mm-hmm.
that's going away in our lifetimes, right? Maybe my daughters, maybe my granddaughters, I don't know, but people are going to think things of me and that I'm not going to like, and that's going to make me uncomfortable because I like to be liked. But also, fuck, if I can step into this innate power that's always flowing through me, then what does that mean for the world?
That just reminded me. That's so good. That just reminded me of this thing. This is why I'm pulling this up. Oh my gosh, why is this not coming up?
We
I
can give
screenshotted this the other day. It says the best part of being authentic is that there's no image to maintain. You'll delight some and disturb others, and none of it will concern the truth of your being.
oh, delight
Yeah.
some and disturb others. And
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just getting really, it's like in a workout. Can you just get comfortable in the discomfort
Mhm.
of that? And it's challenging and it's edgy, but it's so liberating.
Yeah. It's so liberating. Just thinking there's so many things that were coming through when you were talking. And
Yeah, I think we can
now
take a collective breath.
I know I'm trying to reconvene them back into my head.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they'll land, but what else? I mean, I'm trying to think of other ways that we give away our power. And some of you like share in the comments and share, in your own Instagram feed and tag Abby and I um about the ways in which you decide to reclaim your power. Let's focus on the reclamation versus where we're giving it away. It's like you
Mhm.
notice, okay, here we're pushing, we're giving it away. I'm actually going to reclaim. Like my client right now has this story, as many of us do, of being too much for people,
Yeah.
and that her kind of just vibrancy is too much. And so she's really doing a reclamation of that, of, back into her childhood. We're doing inner child work of pulling that
Mhm.
back and knowing that it was really about her mother not being able to handle the vibrancy. And I haven't even noticed that in my own relationship with my mother. And my mother's amazing and I adore her and she's incredibly spiritual. And also sometimes I mirror back to her ways that she's not in her power by
Yeah.
owning my own.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm going to pause here for a moment just because we're at 1847. There's like the mailman next door is like having a conversation with somebody at the door.
Awesome.
So we will just mark that. So the one thing that popped up for me again, that was one of the things I was going to say earlier in response to that is, yeah, all of the ways that we reclaim our power. And especially as a woman, I remember hearing this on a podcast with Abby Wambach, and she was talking about how women are so ingrained and praised by being when they're selfless. And it's
Mhm.
literally like the word selfless, like being without a self. And so
Mhm.
no wonder we're so programmed to look outside of ourselves for anything, for any sort of like validation and, compliments or praise on
Mm.
how smart we are or how pretty we are or how good we are, all of these different things. And like you're working on with your client, what does it really mean to step into, going from being selfless to being full of yourself and really appreciating that fullness.
Can you
And
just let that land for a second? Will you say that again? Like
I'm like,
full.
yeah, being yeah. Um, but yes, no, just this idea of being full of yourself
Mm.
and letting that, because when you think of that in your head, you hear it and you're like, ooh, but somebody who's full of themselves, that's like not somebody that I want to be, because they think they're hot shit and they think that they're better than everybody else. I mean, I think that's the connotation when you hear that phrase, right?
Mhm.
And but what if we get to redefine what being full of yourself actually means? And what if it's a beautiful thing to be and not something to be ashamed of or afraid of?
Well, and you can feel the energy pivot in the way that you said it, right? The
Mhm,
old paradigm of, oh, you're being full of yourself, or she's so full of herself, versus what if you were full of yourself? Like you
mhm,
just shifted, you just pivoted that energy so beautifully, which is why I was like, can we just let that land for a minute? Because it's so powerful. We get to pivot our energy wherever we decide. And I know for me that that was something, growing up, I was always told there's always going to be somebody prettier, stronger, smarter, faster, better than you.
mhm,
And so really, and it was in an effort to humble me, right? But it swung the pendulum way far back that I was so terrified of being seen as cocky and full of
mm,
myself that I became so pleasing.
mhm,
And it's been in the last, I don't know, long time that I've been able to neutralize that quite a bit, because it was meant well. It was
mhm.
really meant for a good reason. And my little 6-year-old self was like, oh no. But being able to do that pivot, that energy pivot of like being so full of yourself. And we already know that when we're full, that's the overflow. And when
Mhm.
we're giving from that overflow, it's constantly replenished. And that mirrors back to us in money, in our sensuality, in our sexuality, in our friendships, in our sisterhoods, in everything.
Exactly. That's where we get to give from. I mean, you can't give unless you're full.
Mhm.
And I was just I was just speaking to one of my clients the other day in a session and I'm like, how can we every time you make a decision to fill yourself, to become more full, celebrate it. Like I want to hear about it. I want
Mhm.
to make that mental mark in your mind of all of the times that I chose to make me feel more full and make me feel better so that I can do all of these things that I want to do. And it's so because otherwise, I mean, your brain goes into just the mode that you are most used to being in, which is I'm just going to follow the same trajectories that I normally do and do these and make these decisions that probably are not for my highest good. It's maybe to put myself on the back burner so I can so I can overwork at my job or in my household or all of the ways that we do that, right?
Yeah, because we've made that to mean that that's a better way of operating. And
Mm-hmm.
you get to decide what you make things mean. And so, what story do you want to fight for? The one
Exactly.
that's like, I'm of my highest service when I'm on the back burner and everybody comes first for me. Well, then, all right, sister, fight for that story. But is it
Mm-hmm.
actually serving you and your loved ones and the longevity of what you're here to really do with your life and experience with your life? And not do in a way of like career, success, or money, but like, is that serving who you really want to be? And because I can feel a lot of women still fight for that kind of victim martyr story, because it's been so celebrated, in generations that we're familiar with, like our mothers and our grandmothers and our great grandmothers. And we're here shaking shit up. Like, actually, we are so powerful as divine feminine. And how can we, like you said earlier, pull our power back, but also the radical responsibility that I've played a part in all of my own shit.
Mhm.
I have
Yes.
played a part. So let me take the reins and let me decide where I'm going to steer this ship from now on, because that victim, that martyr, that playing small is really only serving that smaller ego consciousness that's trying to keep you in survival. But damn, it doesn't feel that good, does it? Like,
Well,
really?
exactly. And it's like the devil you know versus the devil you don't. It's
Mm,
I know what it's like to feel exhausted and overwhelmed and small and like I'm not living to my fullest potential. I've learned how to live with that kind of suffering. But what would it be if I took radical responsibility, if I took radical ownership over my life and then I failed at it? Like, I think that's where we can be afraid to really step into the highest version of yourself, because you're like, at least I know if I stay over here, I might not be happy, but like I know I can live like that because I have been living like that. I have been
mhm.
surviving in that way. But if I really step out on a limb and I fall flat, then like what's that going to be like?
Yeah. Well, and if you step out on a limb and you're taking responsibility for all parts of your life,
Mhm.
and then you have no net to, like you said earlier, to blame.
Mhm.
It's like, let me, and it's not to say, that the things that happened to us as a kid, I had a pretty chaotic childhood and rough childhood. And it's not to say that those things, at times felt like setbacks, but it is to say that who I'm deciding to be now, I'm no longer letting that experience define me, or I'm changing the definition of that experience. Right.
Mhm.
And one of the changes I've made, and I know that you know this, and I've probably even mentioned it before, was that I would always say I grew up a very scared little girl.
Mhm.
And so it created a lot of anxiety and chaos, and just always anxiousness. And I rewrote that in the last couple of years. But I grew up a very brave little girl.
Mhm.
Sure, these things happened and I had to really take care of myself at a very young age, but damn, how brave was I? And so we
Mhm.
get, again, pulling our power back. I'm no longer giving it away to the childhood that I thought I should have had, or the things that I didn't get. I'm pulling it back, being like, okay, well, how did this mold and shape me into the woman that I am? And let me go ahead and rewrite that felt weak. Right. And
Mhm.
even recently this week, I was telling you, rewriting the success.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like my whole life, it's like, oh, I haven't had this quote unquote traditional success because I've always ventured out as an entrepreneur. I've always kind of gone against the grain. But who
Mhm.
am I to decide what that success is? And if I continually put my power in my past of like, oh, I'm not as successful as I thought I was going to be or wanted to be.
Mhm.
Well, what defines that? And I'm only
Exactly.
defining it by traditional societal pressures. And so I'm currently rewriting the definition of success in my body, in my heart, in my soul, in my nervous system, because damn, I'm actually really successful if I look at my life and everything that
Yes.
I've navigated. Again, that's taking radical fucking responsibility and
Mhm.
also pulling my power back to where I'm even giving it to my past versions of myself, being like, shame,
Mhm.
shame, Mrs. Fallon, you didn't do. So
Yeah.
it's a kind of a funny little game sometimes that we
I'm just
that
I'm just cracking up thinking of like seeing like little Fallon walking like in the Game of Thrones when they're like shame, shame, shame.
I know, sweet
But
little girl.
well, and what I want to pull out of too, what you just said, which I think this becomes for us we talk about this all the time with each other, but letting the listeners know that like you get to write that story. You get to look back at the old stories because they are just stories. They are just stories that we have accepted and we have taken on and we have then decided to continue acting in congruence with. And that does not have to remain the case. And this is what we're talking about, taking that radical responsibility, the radical ownership of, okay, this may have been the story that I've been living to up until this point, but who do I want to be going forward? What story do I want to own going forward? What version of myself do I want to step into? What things am I maybe afraid to acknowledge about myself that I actually feel really proud of, that I want to be more and feel more fully expressed in?
Yeah.
So just, yeah, like this whole thing, it's like taking your power back, not giving it away to anybody who tells you that you need to be a certain way, or even yourself who's told you that you might have needed to be a certain way. And because all of that's just stuff that we just take on, humans, or sponges, we take on other people's beliefs, we take on all of the stuff around us. We're always absorbing and processing all of this information. And we then get to decide what to do with all of it. And if we want to continue taking it on, or if we're like,
Yeah.
let's shake it up a little bit.
And a deep part of that is that, as you mentioned, is you didn't use this verbiage, but shadow work. It's
Mm-hmm.
stopping, not running from the parts of yourself too that you may not love as much, or that might have been expressed in ways that were, not healthy or didn't feel
Mm-hmm.
healthy. And so part of rewriting that story is doing, that's something I used to focus on a ton. And it's always the foundation of my work, but I just teach it in different ways now. But really looking at that subconscious, unconscious self of, and we get to shine the light. Like my therapist is always like, we just shine the light on little honey, because
Mm-hmm.
where there's light, the darkness is illuminated, right? And it's just really
Mm-hmm.
simplistic, but so powerful, of really not running from yourself either, and not giving your power away, like you said, to even yourself and the stories. And because they are just stories, and not to minimize anybody's experience,
Mm-hmm.
but also to kind of remind you that it can be that simple, not easy. So I think I would like to hear, maybe talk about the ways in which we have learned to pull our power back. Like, what does that look and feel like? So that people that might be listening to this either have their own ways and want to maybe have new ones, or have never done it. And like, I don't even know where to begin with the energetics of that, with the how of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of I'm just thinking, but one of the things that came to me is, I like to call this process calling bullshit on your bullshit.
Mm,
But it's when you notice a story, like sometimes I think you have these thoughts that go on in your head and something happens, but it's learning how to question it, or just hear it for the first time, and then ask yourself, okay, well, like this is like a Byron Katie, like part of the work, her process called the work, which is asking, well, is that actually true? Is
mhm.
that 100% true? Because as you know, nothing is 100, like nothing's 100% true. So might there be a world or a story in which some of this might not be fully true? And if it's not fully true, then what else might be true about it? And
Yeah.
what might be more true? And
And I
kind of
think,
walking yourself through that process,
yeah.
because I think it's like the little kind of baby stepping, and it doesn't have to be, it's the exact opposite of what you right now believe. But maybe that's not fully true about myself. Maybe there's some other things I still have yet to discover
Yeah.
and want to.
Because we don't know what we don't know. And can I be open to knowing a different perspective, a different
Mm-hmm.
truth that's available to me?
Mm-hmm.
And so that I get to be the writer of my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get to be the one that's writing the script. And I wrote a post the other day about, we're an ongoing novel. We're always editing ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
but yet we're
Always.
always perfect where we're at. But we've got to always be rewriting and discerning. I mean, not always, right? We get to rest and integrate and really become the embodiment of the new version of us. And I really think for me, and this is going to be an interesting, kind of, well, you'll just hear, I guess. But for me, what has really helped me is to hire a healer, a mentor, a guide, a coach,
Mm-hmm.
because they're able to see a more clear view of who I'm being, and can help
Mm-hmm.
me navigate and write these new patterns, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that can be a slippery slope if you're constantly in courses and constantly hiring a coach to save
Right.
you, because then you're giving your power away. But
Right.
there is so much power to be reclaimed and declared when you make that
Yes.
first payment to a new coach, to a new group, to be like, I am changing who I'm being, not because they're better than me or they're
Mm-mm.
going to save me, but because I know that they've already walked through it. And
Mm-hmm.
I want to have that higher perspective so that I can also walk through it.
Exactly. Like I'm making the choice to lean on somebody for their expertise so they can, if show me some of these ways, so then you can take that and take that moving forward. It's not about ending up in some codependent
No.
relationship with coaches and groups and all of these different things, because that, yeah, like you're saying, it's just another way of giving your power away. But it's because the whole purpose of coaching, it's not to be working with somebody for the rest of their life. It's to show them, it's to illuminate the ways that really maybe they're not seeing themselves clearly,
Yeah.
and helping them to integrate all of the parts of themselves so that they can take that ownership and move forward. And so they actually don't need you. I mean, the purpose is not to not to kind of continue on with a dependence. It's to learn that you always had the power. You might just need to be shown some of the different ways in which you're not seeing yourself fully.
Yeah, and given tools to help you
Exactly.
shed those old stories and help you rewrite the new ones and help you really land them. Like another thing my client and I were talking about, she was really like in this space this past week of, but Fallon, I actually feel the believing. Like I feel like I can't describe it. And I was like, because
Mm-hmm.
you've embodied it. Like
Mm-hmm.
that, like, right, we have embodiment practices, and this is getting a whole other podcast, but we have embodiment practices to help us integrate. And then there's actual embodiment of who you are now, and it
Mm-hmm.
feels different. And when you feel it and it lands, it is some of the best tasting
Mm-hmm.
medicine and juice. And I don't even know, it's some of the best, it's the best feeling. And I said, wouldn't you wish everybody could feel this way? And she was
Mm-hmm.
like, yes, the work works. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
priceless. And so a guide, mentor, healer, coach, all of that
Mm-hmm.
is really just is walking you back home to yourself, but also
Exactly.
like illuminating the path, holding you arm in arm, so that we can like we can all find the ways in which we really do want to operate from our own power instead of giving it away. Like, and something you said earlier that I really wanted to hit on too. I know I'm all over, but here we go. Was the compliments. That's actually a
Mhm.
really simple place to start
To
of
start, yeah.
where are you waiting for a partner or somebody to compliment you, and where can you start to pull that power back and compliment yourself and see yourself.
Or
I,
in a work environment too,
oh
with
yeah.
like bosses or coworkers, like waiting to get complimented on your work, or to get like complimented for doing so much more work or staying late, or like when you get complimented on, it's like when people get complimented for losing weight.
Mhm.
And it's like all of the things that, not that you can't do that, but it's like the things that we get external feedback on that then just continues to more deeply ingrain hurtful behaviors.
It does. Yeah. And I noticed, I'm in this new I'm dating somebody new, and I really haven't been dating anybody. And one thing I noticed in the beginning was he didn't give me a lot of compliments. And I mean, now he's very complimentary, but I watched my patterns, and what I realized was that was less of a love language for me and more of what my little girl needed.
Mm-hmm.
And because I actually was okay, I was like, it's interesting. He's not complimenting me, but it doesn't mean anything about my beauty
No.
or about who I'm being. And so I really noticed how much I have healed
Mm-hmm.
because the deep desire to have somebody fucking see me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And first see me for my outer beauty, because that's always like the way in, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you're beautiful, or, whatever. And I didn't, and because he wasn't complimenting me, I noticed how much I didn't actually need it because I've given it to myself so much that I
Exactly.
realized it wasn't an authentic love language. It was what my little self needed. And so that's some of the power pulling, like the power of pulling your power back is that like you notice like, oh, I actually didn't need this the way that I thought I did and the way that I did in past relationships. That was from my wounded self, not from my authentic, powerful self, you know, and you get to do that, like you said, in work as well, in career.
Well, and I think what we can maybe wrap up on is ending with a question, maybe a journal prompt of what are all the ways that you've been looking to others to validate yourself, and what are the ways that you can start giving to yourself today that maybe you've depended on others for.
Yeah, and waiting for that before you can feel good, and
Exactly.
maybe giving yourself some, you know, a paragraph of, I see myself, I see, hear who I'm being, what I'm doing, all of that, and letting it be enough. Just for even 3 breaths, let it just be enough. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, as always, this is amazing.
Always, yes. And I think as I was listening to you talk about embodiment at the end, I was like, ooh, this feels like maybe the next
Episode.
podcast topic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like the next episode.
I can't, now I'm gonna sing the song.
I know, me too. I just heard it. I heard the front, like starting line just go in my head.
Oh, that's letting people know how old we are. It's beautiful.
You know what? We love it.
We do love it. And I love you, and I love
you.
our listeners. And so drop in the comments, tag us in your stories, let us know where you're at.
Yeah, let us know where you're at. Let us know what came up for you, or let us know what ways that you're going to start celebrating all of the small ways that you choose yourself in
Reclaiming.
little choices each day. Yes.
Yeah, it all adds up. I mean,
It
we
all
are
adds up.
testaments to that. We are testaments to it all adds up. So
Yes.
beautiful. Well, join us
Beautiful.
next week for embodiment.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. Talk to you soon.